As the cosmic clock strikes May 2025, an ancient promise begins to unfold. According to spiritual messenger Oriana Gilbert, 350,000 angelic intelligences, guardians of human evolution, are descending into Earth's energetic field with one mission: to assist humanity through the collapse of outdated systems. But this isn't the end. It's the beginning. The crumbling of the old isn't destruction. It's sacred deconstruction, clearing space for the birth of a new Earth. In this video, we dive into the spiritual mechanics behind what's happening, why it's been divinely timed, and how you are an essential part of it. You weren't born to fear this shift. You were born to anchor it. Why 350,000 angels are returning to Earth now. For centuries, angelic presence has been subtle, guiding through signs, whispers, and unseen protection. But in 2025, their role changes. The veil thins, and their presence becomes less symbolic and more structural. These aren't winged figures from fantasy. They are energetic architects, encoded with celestial intelligence meant to stabilize Earth during energetic transformation. Their return isn't random. It's encoded in divine timing. Earth's vibration has reached a threshold where angelic resonance can once again merge with our realm without distortion. When a planetary body aligns with divine law, the angelic realm steps in, not to interfere, but to initiate the next octave of human consciousness. Oriana explained that these 350,000 angelic beings are not coming from the sky. They are activating through crystalline gates, soul vessels, and planetary light grids. Some walk as humans, unknowing until the precise moment they awaken. Others arrive in light, invisible to the eye, but unmistakable to the soul. Their mission is restoration, not of institutions, but of memory, cosmic, collective, and cellular memory of who we really are. They hold no agenda but alignment, no doctrine but resonance. They don't speak in commands. They speak in synchronicities, pulses, dreams, and truth that lands in your chest before your mind. Many will begin to feel watched, not by surveillance, but by divine presence. Not in fear, but in fierce remembrance. These beings don't come to shield us from collapse. They come to help us walk through it consciously, as torchbearers, not victims. This is not a visitation. It's a reunion. And as these angelic forces return, they bring with them the vibrational codes that will unlock the next phase of Earth's ascension, and your own. The collapse is not chaos. It's sacred clearing. Collapse, when seen through the eyes of fear, looks like destruction. But when seen through the lens of higher awareness, it is a sacred process of removal, of what no longer serves, what no longer resonates, what cannot carry forward into the new Earth frequency. The angels are not here to stop the collapse. They are here to remind us that it was always part of the plan. The old systems, economic, political, spiritual, were never meant to last forever. They were scaffolding, not structure. Training grounds, not destiny. When they fall, they leave space for something more aligned, more organic, more rooted in truth. That space may feel like a void, but it is a sacred womb, the field from which new light will be born. People often confuse chaos with collapse because they expect transformation to come gently. But what is gentle to the soul often feels disruptive to the ego. The structures built on fear must tremble when truth enters. The systems built on hierarchy must dissolve when unity awakens. That trembling is not ruin, it is release. Those who resist the shift will experience friction, not because they are bad, but because they are clinging to expired blueprints. The collapse does not punish, it purifies. It will remove what dims the soul's light, what numbs the heart, what silences the inner truth. not through cruelty, but through cosmic mercy. There will be moments when it feels like the world is unraveling, but you must understand, it's not the world unraveling. It's the illusion of control that is dissolving. The collapse is not a storm sent to drown us. It's a wind sent to blow open locked doors and long-forgotten inner pathways. Sacred clearing makes way for sacred remembering. The old was built in separation. The new will rise through coherence. And you are here not to brace against the fall, but to breathe with it, anchoring presence, while the illusion shatters into light. The systems of separation are unplugging themselves. What we call systems are not just laws and paperwork. They are energetic frameworks built on agreements, beliefs, and memory. The systems of control, hierarchy, and division that have dominated Earth for millennia were not forced upon us. They were sustained by frequency. But in May 2025, that frequency begins to unravel from within. Oriana revealed that many of these outdated systems are collapsing not through external sabotage, but through energetic incompatibility. Their frequency is being outgrown. As more humans awaken, the foundation these systems rest on, fear, scarcity, dominance, loses its resonance. And when a structure is no longer resonant, it begins to unplug itself. Like a house whose foundation turns to light, the old walls can no longer hold. Governments will experience increased disorganization. Institutions will suffer silent resignations of the soul. Even technologies built to monitor and manipulate will glitch, not because of error, but because the energy they feed on is dissipating. This process won't always be visible at first. You may feel it instead as a loss of interest in old roles, brands, or identities. The need to climb, to compete, to win, these urges begin to dissolve. That's not failure. That's liberation. The system is unplugging from within you, too. The brilliance of this angelic shift is that it doesn't require destruction. It requires disengagement. As more people stop feeding the illusion loses its appetite. And the machines of control, once so mighty, become like rusted gears spinning in air, with no power left to hold. What falls away is not your security. It's your cage. And what rises in its place is not rebellion. It's remembrance. Of unity. Of worth. Of a world built not on domination, but divine resonance. That unplugging has already begun. And now the current changes direction. Your aura will become your new ID. In the old world, identity was reduced to numbers, bank codes, passports, licenses. But in the new vibrational earth, your aura becomes your signature. Not a myth. A measurable, living field that holds your intention, clarity, and truth. And this shift begins accelerating in May 2025. As frequencies rise, the aura becomes more readable, not just to sensitive individuals, but to environments, technologies, and even consciousness itself. You may enter a room and feel instantly exposed, not because of shame, but because the energetic truth of who you are can no longer be hidden behind masks. The angelic forces assisting this transition aren't labeling anyone. They are encouraging coherence. When your thoughts, words, and actions align, your aura stabilizes. It doesn't just shine, it informs reality. You'll begin to attract experiences not by effort, but by energetic match. Your life will mirror your inner field like never before. People will begin to recognize each other through feeling, not status. Decisions will be made by how someone's energy lands, not by what their resume says. This may feel disorienting to those used to performance-based worth. But to the awakened, it will feel like finally breathing truth. This is why energetic hygiene, intentional breath, grounding, forgiveness, will become as important as eating and sleeping. Not for perfection, but for clarity. Your aura will no longer just reflect you. It will precede you, speaking truths before you open your mouth. The collapse of ID systems isn't about erasing who you are. It's about releasing who you were told to be. In the new earth, you'll be known not by number, but by resonance. And that, for the first time, will be enough. Heaven's timeline begins to overwrite the artificial. The earth has always hosted many timelines, some organic, some artificial. The artificial ones were imposed. Timelines driven by control, fear, forced evolution, and false technologies. But beginning May 2025, those timelines will be overwritten by Heaven's architecture, a living, divine design long coded into Earth's grid, but suppressed for eons. Oriana described this shift not as a battle, but a correction. Like a song being restored after centuries of static. The heavenly timeline isn't religious, it's harmonic. It exists in the DNA of Gaia herself. It pulses with rhythm, beauty, and coherent truth. As the solar light intensifies, it begins to merge with human thought. The signs will be subtle at first. Sudden clarity, waves of peace, synchronicities that border on miraculous. You'll feel as though you've landed into something long-awaited but unfamiliar. That's not fantasy. It's a timeline shift. You're not escaping Earth. You're aligning with her divine version. The artificial timelines may still make noise. Their systems will flail. Their propaganda will scream. But they will feel increasingly hollow, like shadows cast by a flame already gone. The more you align with your truth, the less those illusions will be able to hold your attention. This timeline is encoded with new laws, spiritual laws that bend space, quicken manifestation, and magnetize souls into purposeful gatherings. Relationships will align instantly. Opportunities will arrive by vibration, not strategy. And time will begin to fold, making healing and transformation instantaneous for many. What's being overwritten isn't just a calendar, it's a consciousness map. The new script has already been written, and now it begins to play. Not from the sky, but from within you. You are not just walking the new timeline, you are weaving it. Soul contracts are converging into final missions. Not every soul came here for a lifetime of wandering. Some came for a specific window in time, and May 2025 marks the opening of that window. All across the planet, soul contracts are reaching their point of convergence. The assignments once spread across lifetimes are merging into final missions of service, healing, and embodiment. These missions aren't assigned by hierarchy, they are chosen in the realms before birth. Some will feel an undeniable urge to leave careers, relationships, or cities they've outgrown overnight. It's not impulsive, it's activation. The soul has heard the call, and delay is no longer an option. This convergence won't always come with clarity. It may first arrive as restlessness, or the dissolving of what used to bring meaning. That's because the old roles were rehearsals, and the real work is only now beginning. The collapse isn't just outside, it's also the falling away of what's no longer you. Final missions don't always look dramatic. Some are quiet and deeply personal. Others are collective, revolutionary, or artistic. The form doesn't matter. What matters is frequency. When you align with your true mission, your presence becomes catalytic. You no longer search for purpose, you transmit it. The old grid can't hold the new light. Earth's energetic grid, the invisible web that transmits frequency across the planet, was once hijacked by lower vibrations. War, fear, scarcity, control, all of these became embedded within the grid's wiring. But the angelic realm, as Oriana revealed, has initiated a sequence of high-frequency uploads that the old grid simply cannot hold. This isn't a spiritual metaphor, it's literal. Certain ley lines, previously dormant or inverted, are now reactivating. Sacred sites will begin buzzing. Old monuments will awaken. These aren't just historical, they are electrical. As the new light pours in, the false circuitry begins to break, short, and disappear. You may feel it in your body. Vertigo, tingling in the spine, sudden moments of presence. That's not illness, it's interface. Your inner grid is syncing with the planetary upgrade. As you realign, the outer systems that once fed off distortion will begin losing their grip on your attention, your choices, and your energy. The old grid can't be fixed. It was never designed to support love. It was built to manage limitation. And now, with every pulse of divine light entering Earth's field, that grid is being replaced, not by force, but by truth made visible. The hidden language of collapse, synchronicity. When systems collapse, language changes. You'll begin to notice that instructions no longer arrive from authority, but from synchronicity. What used to come from bosses, news feeds, and rules will now arrive through repeated numbers, sudden encounters, and dreams that refuse to be ignored. Synchronicity is not a coincidence. It's a conversation with the higher realms. It's how the angelic and multidimensional guides send real-time updates during rapid transition. The more the old world breaks down, the louder this subtle language becomes. And those who listen will move with precision and peace. This language bypasses logic. It isn't linear, but geometric. A phrase on a billboard, a song lyric that pierces you, a friend calling at the exact right moment, none of it is random. Each moment is part of a sacred code being revealed as the old structures lose their grip. Learning to trust this language means learning to move from the inside out. You won't need maps, you'll become the compass. And when you walk guided by synchronicity, you no longer fear collapse, you dance with it, because you know you are being led by light woven in perfect order. Lightworkers are becoming living frequency anchors. Many have wondered what their role is in these times. The answer is simpler and more powerful than expected. Lightworkers are not here to save the world, they are here to anchor frequency. As the systems collapse, it's not information the world needs most, it's stability of spirit. Oriana described how lightworkers are entering a new phase. No longer seekers, they are becoming stabilizers. Their aura, when coherent, becomes a node in Earth's crystalline grid. Just by holding truth, love, and inner clarity, they broadcast harmony into chaos, even without saying a word. Some are being called into public roles, teachers, healers, space holders. Others are anchoring silently, through presence, parenting, prayer, or art. There's no hierarchy here. What matters is frequency, not visibility. The Earth is shifting not by volume, but by vibration transmitted through embodied humans. You may find your nervous system becoming more sensitive, not as a curse, but as confirmation. You're tuning into the field because you're part of it. Lightworkers are not followers of trends. They are the frequency holders of the future. And now, their time has truly arrived. The mind will no longer lead the soul. The collapse of old systems includes the collapse of an old order within, where the mind ruled over the soul. In the new earth, this relationship inverts. The soul steps forward as navigator, while the mind becomes a sacred tool, not a master. For generations, we were taught to think first, feel later, and doubt the unseen. But now, as the angelic codes awaken the intuition, the mind begins to surrender, not in defeat, but in relief. It was never meant to lead. It was meant to interpret the soul's deeper compass. This doesn't mean abandoning intelligence. It means redefining it. Wisdom will no longer come from analysis alone, but from resonance. Decisions will no longer be based on efficiency, but alignment. And those who learn to pause, breathe, and listen inward will find that life begins to obey their essence. The world we are entering cannot be navigated through logic. It is designed for those who trust soul alignment over mental control. And as more individuals make that inner shift, the outer systems of manipulation, distraction, and division begin to fall, quietly and completely. Karmic economies are ending in silence. Every system on Earth has mirrored human consciousness, and that includes our economy. Built on separation, scarcity, and competition, the global financial structure has long operated as a karmic wheel, rewarding fear, extracting value, and punishing stillness. But in May 2025, this karmic engine begins winding down, not with explosions, but with silence. Oriana explained that money itself is not the problem, frequency is. What's collapsing is not currency, but the energetic agreement to survive through lack. As angelic frequencies permeate Earth's grid, these old contracts begin dissolving. You'll notice that the hunger for more weakens. The pull to possess diminishes. Enough begins to feel enough. This ending won't come through protests or policies, it will come through disinterest. People will simply stop giving life force to systems that require their diminishment. It won't feel like rebellion. It will feel like walking away from a game you've outgrown. The karmic wheel loses power when we step off it. What rises in its place is not a replacement economy, but a field of exchange rooted in trust, soul alignment, and shared abundance. You will be supported, not by systems, but by synchronicity, service, and divine orchestration. The new wealth is frequency, and it is already flowing. Sacred disintegration, the alchemy of systemic fall. There is a divine intelligence in disintegration. Just as a forest fire prepares the land for rebirth, the collapse of systems, when guided by higher consciousness, becomes a sacred alchemy. In 2025, we begin to witness not chaotic breakdown, but intentional energetic composting of structures no longer aligned with truth. The sacred disintegration is slow and wise. Institutions may remain on the surface, but the spirit that once animated them fades. People lose faith, not out of cynicism, but because their frequency is no longer compatible. Without energetic resonance, even the most fortified systems fall like sandcastles at high tide. You may feel like you're dissolving too. Identities, labels, ambitions, all melting under a new light. That's not failure. That's transformation. The caterpillar must disintegrate to become the butterfly. And humanity now enters its own cocoon, not to escape, but to remember how to fly. Disintegration isn't the end of structure, it's the beginning of soul-shaped form. What rises from the ashes of the old will not be programmed. It will be patterned in divine geometry, unity, and inner truth. What falls has served. What stays will serve even more. The heart field will replace institutional logic. Logic has served humanity well in its material age. It built systems, cities, and language. But now we are entering an era where logic becomes secondary to resonance. The heart field, long dismissed as sentimental, is now emerging as the primary compass of human and planetary evolution. Oriana has long emphasized that the electromagnetic field of the heart is not just poetic, it's more powerful than the brain's. It reads truth instantly. It feels alignment without debate. And in the collapse of the old world, the heart becomes a guide through the unknown. You'll notice this shift as decisions no longer make sense mentally but feel undeniably right. Jobs, relationships, and opportunities will be chosen by feel, not formulas. That doesn't mean irrationality. It means alignment. The heart is intelligent in ways the mind can't always measure, but the soul instantly recognizes. As this heart-led way of being expands, old forms of leadership begin to dissolve. Manipulation no longer works. Charisma no longer leads. Coherence does. And the world, once governed by strategy, slowly bends toward sincerity. In the end, it is not mind that sustains the future, but love made practical. The angelic realm is reclaiming Earth's blueprint. Before human history was written, Earth's blueprint was already encoded, a design of harmony, abundance, and multidimensional life. But this blueprint was buried beneath distortion, war, and control. Now, as systems collapse, the angelic realm begins to gently restore the original plan, not by force, but by frequency. They are not here to intervene like rescuers. They are reclaiming resonance, not territory. Their mission is to reactivate sacred codes dormant in the land, the waters, and the human heart. You may feel it as a call to certain places, sudden bursts of creativity, or the remembrance of something ancient. This reclamation is not external, it's deeply internal. As the Earth's vibration shifts, so does your body, your voice, your choices. What you align with, you reinforce. What you release, you liberate. The angelic blueprint isn't imposed, it's awakened through choice and coherence. As you remember who you truly are, you'll begin walking differently, speaking differently, loving differently. Not because of rules, but because your blueprint is syncing with the planet's original design. This is how heaven returns to Earth, not as a place, but as a pattern reborn through presence. Dissolving fear-based leadership with pure presence. Fear has ruled for centuries through systems, titles, policies, and power plays. But no structure can survive where fear no longer lives. In the presence of truth, fear withers. In the presence of presence, fear-based leadership collapses, not by protest, but by light that cannot be manipulated. You don't need to fight the old rulers. You only need to stop believing their vibration. The more you root into your essence, the less their commands resonate. The collapse of fear-based leadership is not about revolution. It's about resonance withdrawal. When enough people no longer believe in control, control vanishes. You'll notice how quickly these figures lose influence. Their words feel flat. Their decisions lose power. They'll shout louder, but fewer will listen. That's not because the public is angry. It's because the collective frequency is rising beyond the level where fear-based authority can function. Pure presence, grounded, calm, aligned, will become the new power. People will follow those who feel true, not those who demand loyalty. This is how a new Earth leads, not through coercion, but through coherence. Not through fear, but through the frequency of embodied light. Your energy will speak before you do. In the world we are entering, your words will matter far less than your vibration. People will begin to feel the truth of who you are before you open your mouth. This isn't mystical, it's measurable. As the veils lift and sensitivity rises, energy becomes your first language. This is why alignment matters now more than ever. What you think, feel, and suppress all echo outward in subtle but powerful waves. Those around you may not understand why they trust or mistrust you, but their hearts will begin reading you like music, not by logic, but by resonance. This also means that manipulation, masks, and emotional dishonesty will dissolve quickly. They simply won't hold in the high-frequency field that's forming around Earth. Collapsing timelines and the merge of dimensions. As the old systems collapse, something else is happening quietly behind the scenes. Timelines are converging. Realities that once existed parallel to each other are beginning to fold into one another. Past, present, and future are no longer separated. They are becoming available in the now. Oriana shared that this merging isn't linear, it's vibrational. When you align with love, clarity, and purpose, you collapse distance between versions of yourself. You reclaim pieces of wisdom from past lives and receive glimpses of possible futures, not as fantasies, but as fields of choice right now.